I got to talk to him, because obviously, I mean, one of the greatest heavyweights, I mean, and practitioners of mixed martial arts there has ever been. But this is the one thing, I mean, among many things, but the thing that I love most about you, but you're a direct lineage from Antonio Inoki, Billy Robinson, Carl Gotch, and what
This
have
is
you.
true.
So
Yeah, I managed to infiltrate that kind of that scene and to be able to take in all of that knowledge from them, from the physical specific to fight elements, but also to the way of approaching professional wrestling. I'm very fortuitous that my path in life managed to lead me into their under their tutelage.
how did your kind of awareness of catch wrestling happen? Because I mean, I know for me, it was, anytime the Hearts would come down to the ring, I heard is a guy in Canada has a bunch of kids, all the boys wrestlers, all of the females essentially are married wrestlers, and he trains
Mm-hmm.
everybody in a place called the Dungeon in his house. And I was like, Superman is futile to me at this point. I want to be that guy. I want to be Stu Hart. I want to go to the
Um,
dungeon and choke out bears.
I would say that catch came into my watching Shuto and Pancrase and UWF stuff, but then I really understood what catch was as I started training under Matt Hume and then training under Billy Robinson and understanding what the lineage elements was. So at one point it was just, watching shoot wrestling or whatever. And so I understood that had its own cadence and philosophy and technical prowess, but then understanding what the lineage of that was, where the roots of where these concepts and everything come from, that came a little later. But then tapping into that understanding just opened up a whole new other way of viewing it, and then it also then became that much more important for me to put it out in the world and to emphasize this is not just MMA is not just entirely amorphous, generic, a substrate that has no actual being to it, no uniqueness, but there is. And so I wanted the world like, okay, that's fine. I'm a catch wrestler. Stop saying everything I do is jujitsu. Jiu-jitsu people have their own styles and techniques, and then things will vary from person to person. Even still, there's catch wrestling within jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu techniques as well. It's just hard not to cross pollinate, especially when your grandfather, your original founding member, great great or whatever the case may be, who brought the judoka into Brazil to eventually teach his own sons judo and jiu-jitsu. Well, they were doing catch wrestling shows on their relatives' circus shows. I mean, there's just no way of getting around it. But then that's what the world was back then. I mean, that's what a professional wrestler did. They went around the world and took on all comers. And this was proto Ballet Tudo, NHB, and what have you. So it's not even all that surprising to see that the Gracies and all the other Brazilian related martial artists of that era, like the Luta Livre and the Fada side of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, would all involve themselves in challenge matches and competitions, from grappling matches to full-on Vale Tudo fights. I mean, it would be the natural next step. So for me, I come from that Japanese pro wrestling side of the lineage. And so for a guy who's mentored under Billy Robinson and Inoki and gotten to train some under Gotch, and then having his two of his biggest trainers, Matt Hume and Eric Paulson, all under that Gotch lineage as well, for me, it's let's carry the torch. Let's keep the fire lit and show the world that this is not only is pro wrestling legitimate, but this is a serious business and a legitimate way to be an MMA fighter.